All right, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to go ahead and weigh out foods using a scale or not using a scale, okay? So let's start with items that you would weigh on the scale. Now, when you search up any item on MyFitnessPal, you can either scan the barcode to put the items in your own personal database, or you can go ahead and search things up. So for example, if you have an onion or a bell pepper that you picked up from your local produce section inside your grocery store, just search up green bell pepper. That's it. And you want to pick the one that has a check mark next to it, okay? Now, the other options that you basically wouldn't use a scale for, or would use a scale for, sorry, is things like strawberries, okay? These are just strawberries from my local grocery store, and I can go ahead and scan this barcode down here, or just search up strawberries. That's totally fine as well. And all I'm gonna do is when I go ahead and I cut these strawberries up, after I cut them up, I will go ahead and weigh them on this scale. Now, if I'm gonna go ahead and weigh anything on a scale, a lot of people don't realize this, but when you obviously don't wanna get the scale dirty, all you're gonna do is you're gonna place the scale on this, you're gonna press on, and then it's going to zero at the scale for you. Now we have grams, we have fluid ounces, we have ounces, we have milliliters, and then we have grams again, okay? Now, depending on what unit of measurement is inside MyFitnessPal's database is what you want to stick to. So for example, if you find strawberries with a green check mark, and they're in grams, you're gonna use that as a unit of measurement, not ounces, obviously, because you don't want to spend extra time doing that extra conversion, all right? It's not worth it. So when we go ahead and use things that involve a barcode, a lot of people overcomplicate this and they search up just generic options when the barcodes are right here. If you notice, like I went grocery shopping today and I have pretty much a lot of barcode scanning items here, so I don't need to weigh out my oatmeal if I buy it in a packet and I just scan the barcode. So a lot of these things are barcode and then they're in packets, but when you want to have, like, for example, something like chicken breast, or you want to have something like steak or whatever, that's totally fine. When you have something like steak and chicken breast, you want to make sure that you get the correct type of meat on MyFitnessPal. What I mean by that is that either raw or cooked weight, okay? Now, raw or cooked weight, it doesn't matter which one you pick. What's most important is that you're just consistent with that option. So for example, if one day you have raw chicken and then you have cooked chicken the next day, or in the same day it's raw and cooked, it's gonna be a little bit off, okay? All you gotta do in MyFitnessPal is search up raw or cooked chicken and pick the one with a green check mark and make sure that you just use that one. Personally, for me, I find it a lot easier to go ahead and cook all my chicken in advance, and then when I want to go ahead and enjoy myself and have a meal or something, I will go ahead and weigh it out already cooked and seasoned, okay? Now, when it comes to sauces or anything like that, you definitely want to make sure that you're tracking sauces correctly. So what I would do is I would make your meal first, or if you have a separate condiment cup or anything like that, that's fine too. I know people who do that. But what I would do is actually cook my meal first, and then I would place everything on the scale, zero it out, and then drizzle until I get to my desired condiment amount, all right? Now, the next thing that you definitely want to make sure you measure correctly is liquids, okay? So let's just say that you have a coffee creamer or something like that. You're going to go ahead and scan the barcode first, actually, and then you're going to go ahead and either use a measuring cup that has this. So for example, this coffee creamer is 15 milliliters per serving, okay? So 15 milliliters is actually half of this, all right? And this is why tracking macros is important, because most people just take their coffee creamer and they dump the whole thing in there, right? And people overdo it on their calories without even realizing. So this keeps us really, really, really accountable, all right? Now, you can either do it this way with a cup, or you can place your coffee on your scale, zero out the scale, put it in milliliters in terms of unit of measurement, and then pour until you hit the certain amount that you would like, okay? Now, a couple other things that a lot of people don't realize about tracking macros is that when things like peanut butter, or if it's a salsa, or if it's anything where you're taking something out and putting it on an item, you can actually go ahead, you can do this for sauces as well. But when you have your peanut butter, all you're gonna do is open it up, take the lid off, okay? Undo the packaging, obviously. And all you're gonna do is place the peanut butter on the scale. You're going to turn the scale on and it's already zeroed out. And then the serving size for this peanut butter is 33 grams. So all I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going to take out negative 33 grams. And this makes it ridiculously easy for me to go ahead and have my serving of peanut butter. All right. All right, so right now we're at 33 grams. This is what one serving of peanut butter looks like, and it's just basically taking it into the negative so that you don't have to go ahead and put your food on a separate plate, put it on there like this, and then you still have peanut butter on your spoon. This way you're able to have everything that's on your spoon, and that's it. It makes it very easy, and it's a lot cleaner of a way of doing things, okay? Now for the next things here, just to show you some examples, if I were to use the syrup or anything like that, I would place my, for example, a bowl of oatmeal. I would go ahead and place it on here, zero out the scale, drizzle it on there. Same thing goes for this Hershey's syrup. If I wanted to measure this almond milk or any big liquid item, I would either use a measuring cup or I would go ahead and use milliliters. So for here, it's 240 milliliters per serving, and all I would do is put this in milliliters with whether it be like a bowl of cereal or something, and then I would zero it out, put my almond milk in there, and that's pretty much it. When it comes to seasonings and things like that, I do not measure those out. I always tell people that with seasonings, I would just keep it constant, okay? I would keep it and make sure that, if you have to keep your sodium low for a medical reason or anything like that, that's totally fine. You should monitor that. But if you're a healthy individual and you're someone who, you don't need to be as on track with your sodium, you can keep seasonings and spices in there. That's totally fine. I would watch out for higher calorie marinades though. That will add a lot of calories to your plan without you kind of noticing them. And a lot of sneaky calories kind of go up that way and people don't end up losing weight, and then they wonder why. And it's usually because they start adding things that they don't really understand. Or for example, extra virgin olive oil, they'll go ahead and add that in there, and it doesn't feel like you're having a lot of extra calories, but you're having an additional 15 grams of fat with one serving of that, right? So it's not something that people notice. But again, with seasonings and stuff, I would just keep it constant. I would not have one seasonings one day and then cut it out the next or whatever like that. You don't necessarily need to do that. Again, make sure that if you have a medical condition that involves you keeping sodium low for any reason, obviously you want to be cognizant of that. But if you do not need to do that, then you can keep your seasonings as is and you don't have to really track it too much. Just make sure that it's a constant amount and that you're accountable with that, okay? So that's gonna conclude this video of how to use a scale to track your foods. If you need anything else, go ahead and watch the other videos or ask me for questions.